Welcome! This training video is focused on Math Universal Screeners and is geared towards 4th and 5th grade classrooms.
Training Overview. You should have received a box of screeners for your classroom. We will go over the contents in this presentation. Why and intent, background, design, overview, administration guidance, screener components, grading, next steps, and feedback form.
The District Why. In 2021, Rockland Unified's instructional partners, which included teachers, families, students, and staff, determined that a focus on math improvement is essential for our students' academic success. Common assessments is a foundational component of this work. In Rockland Unified, teachers have had many sources of data to measure student progress in English language arts. The hope is to provide universal screening data in the areas of math in order to determine students' knowledge of foundational skills necessary to mastering grade level expectations. Additionally, we want to provide multiple measures in math, which means that we will continue to use MAP Math for grades 2 through 6. Instruction. These district-wide screeners are not intended to be used as summative assessments for report cards and should be used to help inform all tiers of instruction, including at the classroom level or Tier 1 instruction. These screeners provide teachers with information about areas for possible support or reteaching of foundational skills prior to Tier 1 curriculum instruction. They also help teachers to identify areas for possible Tier 1 intervention. These screeners also help to provide common classroom-based tools to identify specific student needs and measure growth over time. They also identify specific areas for intensive intervention or Tier 2 instruction, which can be administered in small groups. The background of these screeners and our process. Beginning in fall 2021, 18 classroom teachers worked together to identify essential standards for each grade level, with intensive focus on vertical articulation within grade spans. Grade levels drafted questions addressing the essential standards, identified foundational skills necessary to accessing grade level work, and also ensured that assessments were less language heavy as compared to our current district adopted curriculum. Questions were compiled into screeners based on the progression of skills throughout a given school year, and contributing teachers, teams, and learning recovery teachers piloted the screeners. The design of these universal screeners is focused on foundational skills necessary to access grade level content. The baseline assessment is assessing prior grade level skills and progresses through fall, winter, and spring with progressively more difficult skills as you go throughout the year. The screeners are not dependent upon curriculum scope and sequence. The team pulled questions from a variety of resources, including our current math adoption. They are not strategy specific except when the standard algorithm is required. We have also adjusted names and topics to be diverse and age level appropriate. The intent of this spring administration is to be able to gain experience administering the newly created universal screeners, to understand students' experience in taking the screeners, to provide feedback, and calibrate scoring. We also hope to provide teachers with student data that can be used to drive instruction for the remainder of the year. Administration guidance. Some number sense and mathematical fluency is designed to be administered via a brief one-to-one student interview. It is recommended that the classroom teacher administer this portion of the assessment so that the classroom teacher can make instructional decisions based on the information gathered during these interviews. Some sections require assessment resources which will be provided or may need additional materials. The written assessment is not designed to be given all at once, so administering the screener in smaller sections is highly advised. For grades 3 through 5, we recommend that each session lasts approximately 30 to 45 minutes. Most students will take a total of approximately 1 hour to complete the entire screener. Should the screeners be read aloud? In grades 4 and 5, teachers may read aloud the screener to students as needed. May I help a student on the assessment? This screener is designed to help teachers better understand areas where students need additional support. For this reason, encourage students to try their best and, if really struggling, put a question mark by the question and move on. This assessment is not meant to cause student frustration and will help guide future support.
Directions for administration. In your box, you will find a brightly colored piece of paper. Please be sure to read through the directions prior to administering the screener. Highlights include chunk into sections and read aloud as needed for grades 4 and 5. Screener components. The screener is broken into the following sections: interview, written section, scoring sheet, resources, and answer key. Interview. Grades 1 through 5 interview assesses fact fluency and mental math strategies. It is recommended that the classroom teacher administer this portion of the assessment so that the classroom teacher can make instructional decisions based on the information gathered during these interviews. The written section is several pages long. It's designed to be broken apart into smaller sections to prevent testing fatigue. It's also divided into skill areas for ease of grading. And note that some questions may be somewhat familiar from Bridges assessments. Also, please note at the bottom, there is a teacher table to use for grading. Scoring sheet. After you administer and go to score the screener, you will notice a teacher table at the bottom of the page. A student scoring sheet is provided to compile each section's scores to get a big picture view of students' understanding. Cut points at the bottom of the page help to determine students' areas of need and will align to universal screening criteria. Resources. Some grade levels have additional resources available as needed. These include flashcards, graph paper, number lines, and graphic organizers. Answer keys are available to support teachers in grading assessments. Additional clarification may be provided based on information gathered on the feedback form and will be revised in the future. If you are interested in exploring other screeners, other grade levels, or other assessment periods, a hyperdoc is available on the hub.
Next steps. With your PLC today, please preview the questions on your screener. The directions will help guide students as needed. Make a plan to assess with your PLC. We recommend completing this assessment prior to spring break. After spring break, please grade these assessments. If you have any answers that are sticky or confusing, please save those to discuss them at the RUSD Learns on April 25th. We will input these scores on revised universal screening spreadsheets that will be provided after spring break. After you've given the screener, it is important to us that you provide feedback on your experience. We are looking to gather information regarding assessment time, assessment content, areas of challenge, and any additional information you would like to provide. Down the road, these screeners are just a starting point. With this assessment information, we hope to be able to better meet students' individual math needs, improve our overall math instruction, increase teacher effectiveness, and provide teachers with targeted math teaching strategies, intervention resources, and math progress monitoring tools somewhere down the road. We would like to thank the many individuals that helped provide input and feedback in this process. This work was done in collaboration with classroom teachers, learning recovery teachers, instructional coaches, principals, and district leadership. Several classroom teachers graciously gave up valuable time with their students to provide key input into this process, and we are forever grateful. Thank you for administering this spring assessment. If you have further questions, please feel free to reach out to Kylie Bray or Nell Hildebrand or your site principal, and we'd be glad to help as we can.